Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Nothing Zilch Nada. We're your host, Xavier Dean.
And Jacob Green.
And this week is Jake's topic. So, Jake, what topic do you have for us for today?
Well, I decided, both of us, maybe more so than others, we've gone through our fair share of Mario platformers, whether that be 2D or 3D platformers. But much like in the case of Pokemon, like how Pokemon isn't the mainline games are like RPG series, but their main gimmick is collecting Pokemon. I say the main gimmick for all the Mario platforming games are the power-ups, the various amounts of power-ups that are throughout the games. So I decided, why not take a look at some of these power-ups today. See how useful they are in terms of the Mario games, but also just to make it a little bit more interesting, we'll take real-world applications into consideration too.
Yes, because I did not want to have to try to derail it because I wanted to talk about real world implications for some of these,
No,
just
no,
for the
no.
sheer humor of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this shouldn't be a very long tier list because we actually don't have too many power-ups. In fact, let's get this out of the way now. I'm not including some of these other power-up variants. So the rules are the fact that like we're taking actual powers into consideration. We don't care about how Mario looks with these power-ups, okay? We're ranking power-ups for a game for 3-year-olds. We don't care how cool Mario looks. But some of these are either like they're throwing objects or they're wearable objects or they're Yoshi related power-ups. So let's get these out of the way. So no green shells, no Goomba Max, no propeller cannon boxes, no skating shoe. Why is the POW block even on there? No bullet bill, definitely not the Master Sword. Some of these are like related to Mario Maker too. I am keeping a couple of Mario Maker related power-ups for consideration purposes. Oh, the big the big bell that's in Bowser's Fury is also a no. Any helmets? Man, we're actually eliminating a lot. This actually makes things a lot easier. Not this purple star. No Yoshi fruits.
Oh,
Not the wearable drill that's in Mario Galaxy 2, mainly because there is the drill mushroom from Mario Brothers Wonder, which is basically the same thing. No blocks. Shoot, what else? Oh, no Goomba shoe. No Goomba shoe. No whatever this thing is. Well, actually, I
that
think I think that's the Hammer Brothers suit.
yeah,
We're
that's the
keeping.
Hammer Brothers suit.
Yeah, not these wearable caps that are in Mario 64 DS, not this flower, um, and not the mystery mushroom because that's an amiibo thing.
Oh,
Oh, and not this item block either,
oh man.
and not this. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers it. Oh, not the Super Mario Brothers 2 mushroom either, because that really doesn't do anything.
Mm.
So, yeah, we're taking legitimate power-ups into consideration. So, what does it do for Mario? What's the real-world utility? And I say let's not go in chronological order, but I do, just to establish our tier list, we put one power-up in each tier list uh, first to kind of like establish a ranking.
Okay.
Let's get this out of the way because I don't even know if I want to consider this a power up, but the super mushroom, like that's what Mario's supposed to normally look like. And it's a mainly thing for the 2D games.
Hmm. Right, I get that. But it makes
Yeah.
them grow. Like
Yeah.
you ever had that high shelf where you either have to get on your tiptoes to get to it, or you have to get a step stool or a ladder to get to it? That
Mhm.
mushroom would help in that situation. You just eat that and you get a little higher.
It would. However, considering the fact that we already have a whole bunch of flying power-ups, which we will talk about in a moment, I say like in the Mario games, you're sure I am gonna grab a mushroom, because that's like an extra hit point damage right there. If you get hit, you just shrink down.
Right.
But considering that there are other power-ups that basically do the same thing but do it better, I say the
Hmm.
mushroom gets a C.
Okay. I get that.
Unless you want it in B.
I'm fine with mushroom at C.
Because again, there are other power-ups that do that same thing but better, such as the fire flower.
Hmm.
Um, I think the fire flower gets a B. And my reasoning for that is that most of these power-ups allow you to grow big,
Hmm.
but they have another thing into consideration. And this power-up's consideration is the fact that you're going to throw fireballs. Now, unlike the super mushroom, I will take every opportunity I can to grab the fire flower.
Right. I get that.
The only downside to it though is that when you see it in the Mario games, like it's able to defeat like Goombas and Koopas, but it can't eliminate like the dry bones or anything that's like the hard shell Koopas.
Hmm.
So anything that's like very hard and durable, it can't do well against, but it's still a very good power up. I don't know.
Right.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm thinking more just everyday practical use. We need some
Mhm.
fire in our lives. Let's say you want to
Absolutely.
let's say you want to start a bonfire, or you have a little fire pit and you've gathered enough leaves. Instead of worrying about if the leaves are dry or wet, you could just eat one of those flowers and fireball. Or if you've got some guy's house you want to burn down. I mean, it also destroys the evidence if you take one hit point.
Hmm.
Burn the house, take one hit point, how do I start the fire?
Absolutely. Um, yeah, so are you thinking B?
I'm thinking B.
Hmm. Again, I think the fire flower is a great power up. In fact, let me get this out of the way. I'm putting both the Mario Galaxy 2 well, I'll keep the ice flower variant of Super Mario Galaxy 2 because that one actually handles a little bit differently. But we'll get to that. But the fire flower in Super Mario Galaxy 2, its only difference is that it's a time power up.
Uh,
So, which is something we will talk about with a lot of these 3D games.
mhm.
Jumping over a little bit, the Tanuki leaf, which first appears in Mario Brothers 3. Now, to get this out of the way, the two what is it? The Super Mario Bros. 3 variant of the Tanuki leaf handles a little bit differently than the one that is in the modern games like 3D World or Super Mario Brothers 2 or 3D Land. This variant allows you to fly.
Oh,
This one allows you to fly uh, for a great distance. There is like a time, not a time limit to it, but there's like this meter thing, this running meter that's in Super Mario Brothers 3, and you're able to fly, you're able to whack enemies with your tail. Um, oh, and you're able to uh hit certain blocks with it too, like the brick
Mhm.
blocks. You're able to crush those very easily too. So, and I think for real world uses, it's a flying power up,
Yeah.
and you're able to like slowly descend very easily too.
So you don't have to take fall damage.
Well, the 2D Mario games, they don't have fall damage, but the 3D games do.
Hmm.
Um, so I was thinking more A because I'm more likely to grab this than a fire flower more times than not.
All right.
Because like sure, you're not able to throw projectile like stuff, but I say the other advantages are way better compared to the fire flower.
All right. I'll agree with that.
Mhm. Now, what's in S tier, I think, unless you have disagreements for it, is the Cape Feather from Super Mario World. This is interesting. They keep bringing back the Tanuki leaf, but not the Cape Feather, which, in my opinion, like I already said how I really like the Tanuki leaf, and I do, but the Cape Feather I think is even better because yes, you are able to fly. Yes, you're still able to break certain blocks with it, but there's so much utility. You're able to actually fly higher and for a longer period of time. Like you do this thing
Hmm.
where like you rock forward with the D-pad and you do like whoop, whoop, whoop. You're also able to slam down on the ground and defeat enemies that way. You can also still hit enemies with your tail, not with your tail, with your cape too.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with it being an S tier.
What
I
are you
mean, it
thinking
does.
of? Like,
Hmm?
what are you thinking of the real world applications of this?
I would say with real world applications, A, you're flying. You can go wherever you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, come on, who doesn't want to wear a cape?
And the
That's
mode,
that is true.
and the mode says no capes.
Oh, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Because you said that, we might have to put an F tier. We don't want someone to wear that cape and end up being an unfortunate end.
Yeah, except there's a lot of things in Super Mario World, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to disagree with Edna.
Yeah.
Yes, capes.
Yes.
Yes, capes.
Yes, specifically with
Um,
this cape.
mhm, specifically with this cape.
Hmm.
And here's the thing, like, there's going to be a lot of flying power ups. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, there's just going to be a lot of flying power ups. Okay. Um, let's see. You know what? Let's get this out of the way. The poison mushroom. Poison mushroom gets an F tier.
Okay. What does the poison mushroom do?
So it was introduced in Super Mario Brothers 2, not the American version, but the Japanese version that we didn't get until Mario All Stars.
Hmm.
Um, it's used to trick you because the coloration of the poison mushroom, because these are the modern versions of the mushrooms, like the original versions of like the super mushroom and poison mushroom they look like this, but without the question mark.
Oh.
But the poison mushroom has like slightly darker spots. Um, and it hurts you. It like if you don't have a power up beforehand, well, if you do have a power up, you shrink down. But if you don't have a power up, you instantly die.
Mm.
So it's a
Fun.
power up that hurts you. Now, I do like it in Super Mario 3D Land in like the harder on the special world levels when you accidentally release a poison mushroom, it actually chases after you. They did the same thing in Super Mario Maker 2 as well. The only thing is, though, is that I wish they would do like a randomizer sort of deal with this power up where it's just like, oh, it could be a fire flower or super mushroom, but other times it could be a poison mushroom. But unfortunately, poison mushroom is always going to be in the same spot. So if you recognize it once, then you can easily avoid it again.
Right. I get that.
So for that, poison mushroom gets an F tier. And then for a power up in D tier, honestly, I'm not a big fan of the mini mushroom.
You take that back. You know the amount of practical uses you could use the mini mushroom on?
Yeah. So this power up was introduced in like New Super Mario Brothers DS. It's mainly prevalent in the New Super Mario Brothers games, but in DS, you were able to unlock two special worlds with it, where you had to beat Bowser Jr. with just the mini mushroom. You're able to scale up walls very easily. You're also able to skim around water too, which is pretty neat. But here's the thing: is that you're very vulnerable
Well,
in this
right.
state as well. What if you get eaten by a dog?
Just don't go around dogs.
What if
I'm
you
just
don't see
saying.
it coming?
I'm just saying, you know how many times I have dropped something in my car in the cracks between the car and I can't reach it unless I have to go around and reach underneath the seat? That mini mushroom would help so much with that. Just go in the crack.
Okay, fine. I'll put it in C.
All right.
Because in my mind, it's still around the same level as a super mushroom. I just think super mushroom is way better than mini mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I'll give it a C. But you're still very vulnerable.
Right.
Just just saying with
I
that.
I get that, but you're basically telling me that you have a mushroom that turns you into Ant-Man.
Yeah, except Ant-Man can easily shrink back up and he could turn super huge as well.
That's true.
Actually, speaking of being super huge,
Mm-hmm.
so well, I guess we should go over the priority of the tier lists real quick.
Yep.
So C is for power-ups that are just like, you know, it's still good for some uses. They're not completely uses, but they're just the bare minimum of a power-up.
Mm-hmm.
B tier is for power-ups that are like, they're good. You know, they got good practical uses for them. And there may be some downsides to them, but overall, you know, they got some pretty good benefits. A tier is for power-ups where it's just like, oh, you really want this. Like you really want this power-up, and they've got like very practical uses. Maybe they have some minor downfalls, but those downfalls are not as egregious as other power-ups. And then S tier is just for power-ups that are straight up broken. Like,
Mm.
sure, they're broken, but you're still gonna grab them because they're just that good.
Right.
But we're talking about Ant-Man because he's able to like shrink and turn huge. And we have a power-up that does make you huge, and that is the what is it called? The giant mushroom, the giga mushroom.
I think it's Giga Mushroom.
Okay, so if we were ranking this just based on games, it honestly would probably be C or D because it's the definition of a real gimmick power up because it's like, oh, this power up makes you huge, but you're also destroying the level design when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
They made it a little bit better because in Super Mario DS, when you grab this power up, you were just like straight up destroying the level design. In the 3D, when they brought it back in 3D world, they made it so that way it's just used in a specific instance and not like, oh, I could potentially get this power up and destroy the level.
Right.
So, what do you think?
All right. Well, I'm trying to think about practical uses, and I'm torn by this
Mm-hmm.
because I understand why you want to get big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll be, helpful to save people from burning buildings, or maybe you want to get that Leaning Tower of Pisa picture, but have it be real.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that mushroom should be in a lower tier.
Are you thinking D?
Yeah, I'm thinking D.
Okay. Yeah, D tier power ups. I consider the mini mushroom to fall into this same category, but I do see you're at least not destroying the level design
Hmm.
when you have the mini mushroom.
Right. And like I said, the mini mushroom has a lot more practical uses in the real world over the giant mushroom.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, let's put another potentially B tier power up along with the fire flower. Let's talk about the ice flower that's in the new Super Mario Brothers games and the 2D games. So I actually really like these power up variants. I can't believe it took them this long to come up with an ice flower variant because it seems so obvious. But so the thing with the ice flower is that like you're able to throw ice balls and you're able to freeze enemies that way, much like the fire flower. But there is a difference. While you're able to freeze enemies with the power up, you can't straight up destroy them. You have to do some extra work. You have to lift the ice block and then defeat the enemy that way.
All right.
But the ice flower is able to defeat enemies like dry bones and those more durable enemies. So that's why I'm thinking it's a B because it has better upsides than the fire flower does. But the fire flower you're able to take care of stuff right away. Ice flower you have to do some extra work for it.
Hmm. I get that.
So what do you think in
So
terms
I would
of
like to make the argument.
practicality?
I would like to make the argument for the ice flower, probably A tier,
Mm-hmm.
especially during the summer months or in warmer areas like deserts. Because how else are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep cool?
That is true. However, since we are on the topic of the ice flower, I think we should also talk about Super Mario Galaxy's variant of the ice flower. So this was actually the very first ice flower that appeared, but
Hmm.
in the 3D games, so a lot of the 3D game power-ups are usually timed power-ups. But this one, not only do you turn completely into ice, but you're able to scale across water and you're able to climb up waterfalls too, which you can't do that for the 2D variant of this ice flower.
Okay. Hmm. All right, so I'd be fine, I guess, with the normal ice flower in B tier, with the Galaxy one being an A tier.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking too. Again, and you're still able to defeat enemies with ice too.
Hmm.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah,
I was thinking, because can't you like fully defeat dry bones with the ice flower?
you can.
So it
But
would have more gameplay use than the fire flower. That was the
it
other reason why
does.
I was trying to bump it to A.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Um,
we want to put both flowers on A tier, or both ice flowers on A tier.
hmm. No, because again, the fire flower, it still takes care of things very quickly. With ice flower, you still have that extra legwork to do. You have to lift the enemy up. And there are
Uh,
instances in the 2D Mario games where like you have a bunch of enemies and you try to freeze them and you're trying to pick the enemy up, but there's a bunch of enemies like just crowding around you. And
mhm.
if you don't take care of the enemy that's in the ice block, they will break out eventually.
Right.
So, mhm,
Okay. I understand that.
mhm. Uh, let's jump around a little bit. The invincible
Jump up, and get down.
jump up, and get down. Okay, so the invincibility star. So no matter the game,
Hmm.
and no matter the variant, because there's like a rainbow variant in Super Mario Galaxy, which really like the psychedelic effect of it. Um, You get invincibility for a short amount of time. Doesn't matter the variant. You get invincibility for a short amount of time. So you would think that it would be S tier because of that. But since this is a time power up, I honestly
Hmm.
think either I'm hovering between an A and a B.
So I feel like this is such an overrated power up because everyone thinks about the star and they're like, oh, this is a great power. But
Mm-hmm.
again, you only get invincibility for about 10 minutes.
Here's the other thing to take into consideration too. There could be moments where like you have to do something with an enemy and the invincibility star makes it hard to do that because you basically, any enemy touches you, they instantly die.
Yeah, that plus, if we're gonna go with invincibility being a good power, then the worst from Ben 10 should be in a higher tier on our tier lists.
Mm.
Because that's literally the worst only thing. I don't know.
But
I would agree with the star being on B tier.
okay, yeah. Again, like it's still useful. I'll still have moments where I want to grab it, but sometimes it's just like, I don't really need it.
All right.
Let's see. What what should we take a look at next? Oh, let's do the Tanuki Sue.
Yeah.
So the Tanuki Sue is basically just a soup up version of the Tanuki leaf. You basically have all the powers that you would get out of a Tanuki leaf, but you get the added benefit of turning to a statue.
Oh,
And in that statue variant, you're able to crush enemies like a thwomp.
okay.
So for that, since you already have the benefits of the Tanuki leaf, I'm thinking of S.
Yep, I would agree with S tier.
Mm-hmm. What would you think the statue would be good for in real life?
Well, I'm thinking, because again, I'm a nerd, and we were already
Mm-hmm.
talking about one character, so now we gotta talk about another one. In the
Mm-hmm.
situation of Colossus from the X-Men, he's a mutant that can turn his body into metal.
Mm-hmm.
The sheer strength of that alone could help when it comes to stuff like building or preventing things from crushing down. He could be great with demolition. As well, a power like that would make you fairly indestructible to most things.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, all you really need after that is Mario in the cat suit so you can perform the fastball special to the in the way it is intended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So just to get these out of the way now, so let's talk about these Tanuki leaf variants that you see in the more modern games.
Hmm.
So Tanuki leaf, as I've mentioned, This is not a power up that makes you that doesn't give you flight. It basically it's a hover tool, which has uses in a game like 3D Land. You can't really the level design doesn't have it where you fly. So, but I
Hmm.
think because it is kind of a nerfed power up, I'm thinking of B tier.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I find it interesting because when they reintroduced this power up, because the Tanuki Leaf was only a power up in Super Mario Brothers 3, and they made it a point of the marketing when they were marketing Super Mario 3D Land, where the power up return is just like, oh, it's the Tanuki Leaf that everyone loves. No, it isn't. It doesn't handle the same.
Right. I
Uh,
get that.
But on the topic of the Tanuki leaf, we've got the invincibility leaf, which basically happens when you die enough times and the game is just telling you just finish the level already. So you're basically invincible throughout the level unless
Mhm.
you down a pit.
Right.
Now
So
again, if this were a 2D game, I would honestly put this power up in F tier because it's just like this is just like brain rot power up in that point.
mhm.
But, because it is invincibility for the entirety of the level, which is something that the invincibility star doesn't do, I don't know. What do you think?
I would agree with putting it down in F tier. And my reason for this is when you eliminate like the margin of error or when you
Mhm,
eliminate the option for failure,
mhm,
you're sort of teaching the player, hey, you can or you'll be able to do it. We just have to take away the harmful factors. By taking away the harmful factors, you leave them unprepared when those harmful factors come back. So it's natural selection. You don't learn from what's going on. You can't really improve, if that makes any sense.
mhm.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
yep.
And then,
And this absolutely has nothing to do with what I think about real people. I'm don't want to get hated on because everyone's like, "Oh, you're saying this." I'm not saying that today. Maybe a
mhm,
different day.
yeah. So to end our tangent of leaves, so the stone leaf variant of the Tanuki leaf, this is basically their excuse of like giving you the ability of the Tanuki Sue with like the stone statue variant, but it's still this Tanuki leaf where like you're just hovering, you're not really flying. So I think it should be A.
I'd agree with that.
Mhm.
I would agree with that.
Again, it just doesn't compare to these two.
No. But you know
Uh,
what does compare to those two? In
what's
my
that?
mind? The
What's that?
penguin suit.
Oh yeah. I wanted to talk about the peewee next, but yeah, let's talk about the penguin suit.
Okay.
So, um, this is interesting because it was introduced in New Super Mario Brothers Wii,
Hmm.
where the ice flower is also introduced in that game, and I don't understand why you have these two power ups together because with the penguin suit, you're able to throw ice balls like you would with the ice flower, but you're also able to scale on the ice and you'll
Hmm.
have better swimming controls too.
Yes, exactly. See, and that's why I'm saying that it should be S tier.
Mhm.
I mean, you've got the practical use of the ice. You've got better swimming controls. You can scale the ice. If I remember correctly, this was one where it was a lot easier to slide down a hill to take out a lot of enemies. You could go farther than you would normally go if you just slid down the hill.
Definitely.
Yeah. Plus, who doesn't want to be a penguin?
Yeah, it gives you the experiment, the experience of Club Penguin.
Yes. Yep.
Have you ever played that game? I never
I
played that.
I never played the game, but I watched so much Disney growing up that I saw all of the ads that were going on for it.
Same. That's how I was able to know about it.
Yep.
Speaking of swimming controls, when we're on the topic of the penguin suit, let's talk about the frog suit, which is in Super Mario Brothers 3. So you do get better swimming controls when you have the frog suit, and that is great. However, once you are on land, you are slow. So,
Okay. My question is,
mhm.
in the frog suit, do you at least get the tongue?
No.
Ah. Well, there goes all of the practical uses I could have said. Jeez. D tier. Maybe F tier. I maybe just D tier because of the better swimming controls.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you had the tongue, I would have had it at A.
Honestly, maybe we should put it at C because there are points in Mario 3 where you do need to grab it
That
compared
all
to
right.
the Mega Mushroom.
All right, that's fair. And like I said, if you had the tongue, ladies, agree with me here. With the tongue, it would have been a higher tier.
That's why you have Yoshi. Okay, now moving on from that, let's do another Super Mario Brothers 3 power up. Let's talk about the P-Wing. So actually, let's put this in irrelevant as well. So this version of the P-Wing that's in the more modern games, it just lets you skip the level, which is very
Ah,
lame. Which is very lame.
yeah.
But it's different from this P-Wing. So the P-Wing in Super Mario Brothers 3 allows you to have unlimited flight controls. So you're basically it's the Tanuki leaf, but you don't have to worry about the meter going down.
Oh man.
It lasts for the entirety of the level, and it is a very rare power up. So I say, honestly, I say yes.
I'd agree with that.
You're
Because,
basically Superman at that point, just without the cape.
yeah, traffic would be so much easier. And
Well,
imagine going on dates.
oh man. Hey, it's I'll take you under my P wing.
Yeah?
Actually, when we're on the topic of P related power ups, let's talk about the P balloon.
Oh, gross. Oh,
Okay,
why would you
so
fill a balloon with that? That's
so
oh,
I
it's
never
yellow too.
yeah. So this was the other flying power up. I say flying power up, but like it's more of a floating power up. This was also introduced in Super Mario World. Um, so you are able to float with this power up. However, there is a certain amount of time you are able to float. Afterwards, you shrink down, and good luck if you're in a point in the level where you have no ground beneath you,
Hmm.
because that's Dead Man's Game right there. There's a star world in Super Mario World that you could go to play some of the game's harder levels. And the harder levels are named after 80 slang terms. But one of the hardest levels of 2D Mario is a level called Tubular, where you have to complete the entire level with nothing but pea balloons.
Ew.
So I don't know.
I don't know.
I say C.
I'd be fine with C tier.
Because, like, again, much like the frog suit, you do need to grab it at certain points.
Hmm.
Uh, you do need to grab it at certain points in order to complete the level. But it's also at the same time, it's just like the cape feather is just way better.
I'm also thinking because it's a balloon, it can easily pop, and we all know what happens when you pop a balloon.
Yeah, yeah, that can also happen too, because you are actually very vulnerable because
Mm-hmm.
you can't contact an enemy when you're in that state.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. Let's talk about the Hammer Brothers suit. So the Hammer Brothers suit, you basically have the abilities of the Hammer Brothers. You throw hammers, you can go under your shell and be invincible that way. There are instances of like you don't have complete durability because like if you're not in the shell state, then you can easily be knocked out.
Right.
Um, it's also a very rare power up too, compared to the Tanuki leaf and even the Tanuki suit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm honestly thinking S.
Yeah, I'd be fine with S tier.
I don't know. What do you think in terms of real world practical use?
Dude, you've got hammers. Do you know what all you can use hammers for?
That is true.
Like, and that's not including the durability. Like, that would be the perfect carpenter suit. I'm gonna build this house. Oh no, the house is about to fall on me. Let me just go in my shell, and I'm no longer in danger.
Yeah. Actually, let me put this over here. So,
Also with the Hammer
mhm,
Bros suit,
mhm.
it gives you a better opportunity to quote pixels as a pickup line.
uh,
You look at someone and say, "Grab onto my mighty hammer."
let's talk about this Super Mario Maker 2 power up. It's not the Hammer Brothers suit. Um,
Hmm.
it does only appear in certain levels, but that is the case with a lot of these Mario Maker power ups, which is why I'm taking some of those into consideration. I don't know. You have to stop at certain points. You can't just run and throw hammers. You actually have to like hit blocks slowly with it.
Huh.
So I say it's not S tier.
No,
Um,
I'd say probably B tier because
yeah, I'm thinking B.
you still get the practical uses of any sort of hammer. You know, if you need to
Yeah,
hammer a nail into a hole, that's not an innuendo. That's actual. Take a nail, grab a hammer into a hole.
yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true. Okay.
Now,
Let's
what's
get this out. Let's get this out of the way.
I was
The
just about to
super
ask about that.
Yeah, this so the interesting about the very first Super Mario Land game, it was like a launch title for the Game Boy. I don't know I think this was because they didn't know how to properly get the fire flower in at that point because they had to deal with the monochrome colors of the Game Boy back then.
Hmm.
Um, but this is basically the fire flower, but you throw super balls and they bounce all over the place. Now, in a novel,
Bless you.
thank you. So like for the novelty of this power up, this is cool, but in terms of practical uses, it's just like because the thing about the fire flower is that you're able to get better aim out of it. With the super ball, I mean, sure, you can aim enemies with it, but it also just ricochets all over the place. And it doesn't necessarily aim where you want it to go some of the time. So I don't
Mm,
know. I guess I'm thinking B.
I'd agree with. I would agree with B tier.
I don't know. Can you think of any real world uses for having super balls?
Um, Other than the pickup lines, no.
Hmm. Okay. On the topic of Mario Land power-ups, the carrot from Super Mario Land 2. Again, there are so many of these gosh damn flying power-ups. But the carrot in Mario 2 gives you bunny ears, but you don't necessarily fly with them. You could take off for a little bit, but then you just like slowly glide off of the ground.
Hmm. Okay.
But they're not as it's not as souped up as like the Cape Feather or the Tanuki Leaf or Tanuki Soup or the Peewing. So honestly, I think it might be in the same tier as the Tanuki Leaf from the modern games.
I can get that.
I don't know. Again, we have so many of these flying and gliding power-ups. It's
Mm-hmm.
insane. On the topic of flying and gliding power-ups, the wing cap from Super Mario 64. So this is the point where we talk about the 3D versions of Mario power-ups, which a lot of the time, a lot of them, they're situational or they have a time limit to them. So the wing cap doesn't have a time limit to it, but it only lasts for the level that it's in.
Right.
So it's only required for specific uses. Um, but you are able to fly with this power up, which is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there could be the argument of S tier. Uh, it's hard to control compared to some of these other power ups. So I don't know. What are you thinking?
I would say based on control, how
Mm-hmm.
hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe B tier.
Yeah, I'm thinking B.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, we have so many flying power-ups. In fact, let's get some of these other flying power-ups out of the way too. The propeller mushroom. So propeller mushroom allows you to take off into the air. You're able to it actually handles a lot like the carrot now that I'm thinking about it. The
Mm-hmm.
only advantage that it has compared to the carrot is that you're able to stomp enemies out of the ground and you're able to break through blocks easier that way.
Right.
Uh, but you could also do that with the Tanuki leaf and suit and the cape feather.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm thinking either A or B for
I'd
this
be fine.
one.
I'd be fine with A, just for the fact that it has a propeller.
Yeah, that is true. It is true. The acorn, it turns you into Flying Squirrel Mario. I think it
Oh,
was at this point that they were running out of animals.
see, I don't believe that because they haven't gotten to a single bird yet. They've got wings like a bird, but they don't have an actual bird, except for the penguin. But that's a flightless bird.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the squirrel is in a so I actually think this is a little bit better than the propeller mushroom because
Hmm.
you are able to glide on the air and you're able to stick on the walls without sliding down. Um, you can also take care of certain enemies while you're in the gliding state too.
Right.
But again, it comes in certain instances where it's just you want to be able to slide down the walls and you don't have the option to do that. You're just kind of cleaning it onto it because they wanted to mimic how flying squirrels are in real life.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Hmm.
There's also the P acorn in that same game, and that one I would think would get an S just because, much like the P wing, you get unlimited flight.
Right. I'd agree with that. So
So,
P acorn gets S, and then the regular acorn gets A.
mhm. I don't know. What are you thinking? Are you thinking it's more of like the saving people situation for those power ups?
Yeah, well, unlimited flight also helps with travel. I mean,
Hmm.
who needs cars when you could just fly to your destination?
That is true. And plus, you are able to clean on to walls too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So, let's see. Am I forgetting any? There's like certain gravity power ups, but I don't think. Well, actually, no. There is technically one more flying power up, and it's the Bumblebee mushroom from Super Mario Galaxy. This is weird. Like Super Mario Galaxy is like probably one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm not gonna lie, its power up selection is super weird. I mean, the main lighting power up for that game is a freaking Bumblebee. And like, sure, you're able to fly for a certain amount of time because there is the meter that's in a lot of the 3D games. You're able to clean on the honeycomb walls, but if you're exposed to water, then you lose the power up.
Hmm. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if you've ever thrown water at a bee, can't really do much.
Yeah, especially if it's a bumblebee.
Yep. Well, it depends on the bumblebee. Because if it's a robot bumblebee, you can throw water at it and it will still kick your ass.
But does it fly?
I guaranteed you, Bumblebee is crazy enough where if he can't fly, he will find a cannon to shoot himself out of.
True. So, what are you thinking? What are you thinking for this thing?
I don't know. I feel like that one might also go or be better as a B tier, maybe a C tier.
I'll put it in C
Hmm.
just because it doesn't have any advantages compared to like the other flying power ups that we have, even in the
Uh,
ones in B tier. Um,
mhm.
because really it's the exposure to water that really hampers that power up. Um,
It is the true Icarus power up.
it is true. Okay. Let's talk about some of these other 3D power ups now. So the Vanish Cap from Super Mario 64. Um, Super Mario 60, again, the 3D games, their
Hmm.
power ups are just so situational. And both of these caps are good examples of this. So the Vanish Cap allows you to vanish through walls. It's a transparency effect sort of deal, but it's only for a certain amount of time and it's only used for specific levels.
Okay. I don't know.
Actually, it handles pretty a little bit similarly to the boom mushroom. Only the boom mushroom doesn't have a time limit. It handles a lot like the bumblebee
Mm,
mushroom, where it's just like you're able to go through walls. It's only used for specific levels, and if you're exposed to light, then you lose the power up.
mm. Ooh. So wait, that exposure to light, is that just the boom mushroom or is that the vanish cap as
It
well?
it is just the boom mushroom. The vanish cap just has to worry about the time limit.
Right.
So
So
honestly, I think whatever tier they go, I think they should be in the same tier.
they should go in the same tier because their pros and cons sort of counter with each other.
Mhm.
Hmm, I would say, 'cause I'm trying to think of practical uses. I mean, just the idea of going through walls is good, but there's light at the other end of the wall.
Hmm.
And what if you're trapped in the wall?
Yeah, that is true. Or you go through the wall and you accidentally go into someone's bathroom. And if you're exposed to the water, assuming that if it's the boom mushroom, then,
Mm,
well,
right. I mean, I guess it's gotta depend in that situation.
mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally I'd say both them. I kind of want to say D tier for them. I feel like
Yeah,
I feel like the cons outweigh the pros for that one.
yeah, I would put them in the same tier as some of these other power-ups, but they're just kind of whatever.
Hmm.
The metal cap. Metal cap is similar to the Vanish cap, where like it is a timed power-up,
Hmm.
but I do think there are advantages over the Vanish cap. Like you're able to go underwater with it because you're so heavy
Oh,
uh from the metal. And you so in the 3D games you have a time limit for how long you can last in the water, and you don't get that when you're in the metal when you get the metal cap. However,
okay.
once you do lose the power up, then you know you're on that time limit again.
Okay. So, how long is this time limit?
I honestly don't know. I've not I say probably at the most a minute.
At most a minute. Okay. This is gonna change how I think about the practical uses for this. Because, you know, I mean, it's metal, so, you've got that little invulnerability side to it. But also with the fact that you basically don't need to breathe underwater when you have that.
Mhm.
And me being a disc golfer at a course where we have a water hole that has claimed so many discs, it means I get a full minute to sink down to the bottom, try to grab as many discs as I can, and get back up. And our lake that's by us isn't really that deep. Well, it's deep, but it's not so deep that if I lose the power up, I can't make it back to the top. So I kind of want to put this a B tier.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing too, because I again, I think there are advantages compared to like the Vanish cap, but it's just one of those things where it's just like it's cool and you do need it for specific instances, but like there's not that much going above that.
Hmm.
Um, let's talk about this thing next. So the blue shell. So we
Oh.
eliminated shells from our list, but this is an actual power up where you do wear a blue shell. And to me, this is just a worse version of the penguin suit because you're able to like slide through similar to the penguin suit. Well, not similar to the penguin suit. You're able to like once you get a running start, you instantly go into the shell, but you can't stop it unless you're stopped by an enemy and you ricochet off of walls.
Ah. So you basically become an immovable object.
Yep. Which is why I think it handles similarly to the penguin suit. But the thing is, the penguin suit, you have much better control over that.
Hmm. I'm trying to think of practical uses.
And it's a new Super Mario Brothers DS.
Hmm.
And that's the only game that it's been in. And the thing is that the mini mushroom and the mega mushroom at least are prevalent in the other games.
Hmm. Yeah, I get that. Um, I don't know. You get that invulnerability, but then you become an immovable object.
And there are other power-ups that handle similarly to it, but they don't have that disadvantage like the blue shell has.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd put it on a lower tier. I don't
I
know.
say
Hmm?
I say D,
Okay.
honestly.
I'd be fine with that.
Actually, when we're on this trend of like power-ups that don't handle super well, so another Super Mario Galaxy power-up I straight up don't care for is the spring mushroom because with the spring mushroom, again, situational power up, you only use it in specific instances to complete a level. But the thing is, you turn into a metal coil and you're always bouncing, and the
Mm,
controls are not super good.
uh, yeah.
But again, you still need it for specific instances, but it's just like, I don't know. I think this is another D.
I'd agree with that. I mean, other than maybe a high jump for practical use, I can't think of anything else you could do.
Yeah, but you could get higher jumps with the flying power-ups that we have. And they handle
Mm,
way better compared to the spring mushroom.
that's true.
What does handle well compared to the spring mushroom is the red star that's in Super Mario Galaxy. So I both love and hate this power up at the same time. On the one hand, this is probably one of the best flying power ups because you're able to glide similarly to the Cape Feather, but you have very great controls and you're able to just fly around space rather than having to do launch stars.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it's only in one level in the hub world.
Uh,
But if we're thinking outside of the games, I'm
mhm.
honestly thinking S.
I'd agree with us for that.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's just like, it's like the Cape Feather and the
Hmm.
Tanuki suit and all these other
Right.
ones. Actually,
That plus, if you're able to go from world to world in Mario Galaxy, it means that you don't really need to breathe in space.
mhm,
So, planetary travel, you could be the first one to discover new life.
that is true. Okay, let's talk. So the Super Mario Galaxy 2 power-ups, I actually like better than Super Mario Galaxy's power-ups. For
Hmm.
one thing, they're not timed power-ups. They are still situational, but the uses for them are great. So the Cloud Flower, I wish this power-up would come back, honestly, in like a 2D game or something. Because what the Cloud Flower allows you to do is that when you jump, you get like a slight hover for a certain amount of time where you slowly float down to the ground, but you're able to create up to 3 cloud platforms with it.
Okay.
Now, those cloud platforms only last for a certain amount of time, but you're able to make another one after the other one is gone.
All right. I'm trying to think.
I mean, it's not a flying power up, but for
No.
something that doesn't make you fly,
Hmm.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I can see that. I'd say maybe B tier, possibly A tier.
I'll put it at A.
Okay.
I think it has enough going for it, even compared to some of the other power ups that are in B.
Hmm.
The rock mushroom. So the rock mushroom,
Turns you into
uh,
Maui. Or
yeah.
maybe Black Adam. I don't know which one would be cooler.
Whatever it is, you'd be cooking something with it.
uh,
Yeah, but the rock mushroom is seriously pretty good. Like it allows you to turn into a rock boulder and you're able to smash your way through things. Unlike the blue shell, though, you do have way better control over it.
mm,
Although I will say, if we're thinking real world, since you are covered in rocks, you can't necessarily see where you're going.
ah, Yeah. I mean, if you paint yourself orange, you could probably get away with being the thing.
Maybe they were thinking of that and they had to change the power up. I don't know.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, it would still be a good power up for demolition.
It would be.
So
Just as long as you're not harming anybody.
that is true. Or only
So,
if you harm the right people.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm juggling between C tier and B tier. I don't know what your
I want to put it at B.
okay.
I want to put it at B because I do think it has some pretty good advantages. It's still a situational power up, but for what it is, I think it's pretty good.
Right.
Now we're getting back into 2D power ups. Now the
Mm-hmm.
ones that aren't timed. So the boomerang flower. So boomerang flower, you're able to like hit enemies with it, and you're able to grab certain things like coins with it. The
Mm-hmm.
only drawback compared to something like the fire flower is that like you have to wait for your boomerang to come back.
All right. I don't know. There are some pretty good boomerang users in media. Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender, for one.
Mhm.
I would say one of the biggest practical drawbacks when it comes to the use of a boomerang, like you could use the boomerang to grab things, but when it's coming back to you, you have to catch the boomerang.
Mhm.
So that plus boomerangs are hard to throw.
Yeah, I'm thinking B.
I'd agree with B tier.
Yeah, because again, it's got some pretty good practical uses. I do think it has some disadvantages compared to the fire flower, but like there are certain instances where I think the boomerang flower works better.
Hmm.
Um, this is interesting. So, New Super Mario Brothers 2 has that gimmick where you have to collect 1 million coins
Hmm.
throughout the game. So, some of the power ups that it has in that game are ways for you to get coins. The gold flower, you
Hmm.
basically have Midas touch, where you basically throw gold fireballs and you turn everything into gold coins.
Nice. All right. So, in a practical use, you will become the richest person in the world.
That is true. However,
However, like
Midas
you mentioned,
touch.
the Midas touch. Say goodbye to picking your nose.
What is that? Bro, bro, why is that the first thing that you mentioned?
What else was I
Uh,
supposed to mention?
uh,
But in all seriousness, outside of picking your nose, that means no more eating because all the food you'll be touching to eat will turn to gold. So you might have to get someone to feed you. It means no more loved ones because when you have a loved one, you want to hug them, and that's kind of where the Midas touch ended. It's yeah. Um, it'd be great for taking out your enemies.
It is great for taking out enemies. That's why I think it should get a B.
I'd be fine with B tier for that.
Yeah. Assuming you're careful with it, gold flower works pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, just don't pick your nose.
Well, you wouldn't be able to pick your nose with this next power up. The cat bell from Super Mario 3D World. I love this
Uh,
power up. I love this power up. It's got very like for something that turns you into a cat, it's got very great utility. Like
mhm.
you're able to claw at enemies, you're able to climb through walls. Not in the same way as other power-ups would do it better, but
Mhm.
um and you're able to pounce on enemies too.
Okay.
Now there is a variant of the cat bell, the lucky bell, which is basically it's kind of like P-wing territory where it's like you basically get all the stuff from the cat bell, but um you get like I forget exactly what it is that you get when you have like the lucky bell, but it's like a certain amount of like pouncing abilities. What do you
hmm.
think? What do you think in terms of real world applications for
Uh,
the bells?
real world applications. I I mean, you're basically dressed up as a cat. So you know there's going to be a lot of backlash with that. Um, other than that, the pouncing, oh, it'd be pretty good to jump to high places. I don't know. I just don't see this power up going in a more practical sense, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, okay. So you basically get all the abilities the of the super bell. I was calling it the cat bell, but it's called the super bell. But the
mhm.
lucky bell, when you pounce down, it gives you coins.
Oh, oh, so Meowth from Pokemon.
Meow, that's right. So I think Lucky Bell should be an A, and then did I say the Super Bell should be
Hmm.
an A, and the Lucky Bell should be an S.
I'd be fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fine with that.
You're getting paid while pouncing on enemies.
That is true. You gotta make that money.
All right. Double cherry. So double cherry allows you to have another duplicate each time. You can have up to four different variants.
Oh.
Now it's kind of a situational power up where it's like there are certain levels in 3D world where you need like a certain amount of the character that you're playing as. It's like, oh, you need four Marios in order to get up to this platform or something.
Hmm.
But you're able to carry other power ups with it though. So like you can have four fireballs going at the same time, or you
Mm-hmm.
could have double cap powers or double Tanuki powers or whatever.
Right. I can.
So I honestly think it should be A.
I mean, if we could put my 2 cents in the practical use, I kind of want to make the
Mhm.
argument for S tier because you're making duplications of yourself, which are not clones, they're duplications. Duplications are a lot easier to control than clones.
Okay.
But with that, it means those duplications can go and do whatever you need them to do.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you have work one day, but you want
Yep.
to go to a baseball game because it's baseball season. You can have a duplicate go to one and you go to the other. Or let's say a there's like a go there's like a family reunion and you need to go to that. But then you're on a dating app and a really attractive woman wants you to go on a date with her that same night. Just splits.
Okay.
So I would
I'll
like.
buy to that since that is real world application type stuff.
Mhm. And again, with all those power ups, that means you can have multiple different jobs going at the same time. You can have one of them in a construction work, like a construction worker situation where it comes to needing the uh Hammer Bros shell. You may have one who's like an Uber for the air and have any of our many flying power ups.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Double Cherry is pretty cool. It does only last for that level that it's in. Um, but still like a really great power up. Okay, so the weird mushroom in Super Mario Maker. Basically, it makes you lanky and you have a weirder jump. Basically, you're Waluigi.
Ah.
Wow. I don't know. This one's weird.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I do. Yeah, it's the weird mushroom. The weird mushroom is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm thinking C.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of practical use, but I'm just not thinking of it right now.
Yeah. Now, I almost don't want to take this power up into consideration, the Super Crown. So, New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe on the Switch added Toadette as a playable character. And
Mm-hmm.
she was basically added, like, she's the only character that gets the Super Crown. And in the options for New Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, they label Toadette as an easier character, mainly because of this power up. Because it basically the Super Crown basically turns you into Peachette. So it was just an excuse to bring Peach into the game.
Oh.
But with it, you're able to like float, which there are other Mario power-ups that allow you to float or
Mm-hmm.
fly. And you have some invincibility, but like I don't know. Do we want to put this in irrelevant? Because only Toadette gets.
Yeah, I'd put it irrelevant.
Okay. Now, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is the latest 2D game, has its new selection of power-ups. So the bubble flower. This is weird as a flower variant. It's like we go from fire to ice to bubbles. But there are the practical uses of like bubbles. You're able to like bounce off of the bubbles and you're able to put enemies in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
My bubbles.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking with the practical uses, like, come on. We all know the practical uses of a bubble. They're
I
fun. Bubbles.
think it should be B.
Fine.
Unless you want to put it in C.
Oh, I was gonna argue A tier, but we could put it
Oh,
at D tier.
oh. You
I'm
know what?
I'm are you
We could put it in A.
okay? We'll put it at A.
I think it has some pretty good advantages.
It does.
Um,
That plus it's bubbles. Who says no to
mhm,
bubbles?
yeah. Okay, the drill mushroom. Uh, drill mushroom. So basically, Super Mario Galaxy 2 introduces the drill, but it's like one of those holding power-ups.
Hmm.
But it's basically this. So you transform into a drill and you're able to drill underground with it.
Oh, cool.
So honestly, I think this should be A because
Yep, I'd agree with
you know,
that. I mean, again, thinking of practical uses, any sort of mining job,
mhm,
it fits.
mhm, absolutely. Now we come down to our final power up, which honestly, this is the weirdest power up. It's not a bad power up, but it's just super weird. The elephant fruit. That's what I find interesting about it. It's not a mushroom, it's not a flower, it's a fruit.
Okay.
But I need to look this up real quick because like you turn into an elephant with it. Uh let's see. I'm trying to find it's telling me about the design of the power up and not like let's see. So it enables them to swing their trunk to smash blocks and enemies, store and spray water for interaction, dash across large gaps, and carry items.
Hmm. I mean, there's practical uses for that.
Yeah, there is. I'm thinking A.
I'd agree with A. I would agree with
Mhm.
A.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very practical power up. It's just very weird. Mario Wonder's power ups are like very interesting. But
Mm-hmm.
I will say they're more interesting than some of the power ups that we've gotten in like the new Super Mario Brothers games.
All right. I get that.
But there you have it. All the Mario power ups ranked
Mm-hmm.
based
From
on
S to irrelevant.
well, the irrelevant ones are just like, you
Yep.
know,
Right. No, I get that.
nah, nah. But yeah, I say this is looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
You know, do you think we ever look back at some of our tier lists and we just be like, what the heck were we thinking?
Yeah. Like seriously, putting the worst at a low tier when he's practically indestructible. What were we thinking with that?
I don't know. To me, those type of invincibility power-ups where you're basically winning the level, like
Mm-hmm.
there's no use to that at that point. That
Right.
was like that's like one of the easy modes for games that Nintendo started to try to incorporate.
Mm-hmm. Well, again,
But
a game isn't fun because you can easily win it. A game is fun
mhm,
because it's challenging. It's something that you can look at and be like, "Hey, I think I can do this." It's hard, but I can take pride in knowing that I solved it. So, all right. Well, do you want to look at how other people ranked the tier list?
I I guess so. Let's view.
Well, I know we usually do something like that.
Oh wow.
Huh.
Well, and here's the thing, like. It's not that these items don't do anything, but it's just like they're not really power ups. Actually, that was one thing I forgot to point out about the mini mushroom and why it should have been in like D tier. Because we're talking power ups. Ups.
Oh, if that's the case, then that Mega Mushroom should be in a higher tier as well.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, you want to bring mine down? I'm bringing the one that's down up. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that's in like S tier though.
No,
I mean, sure, stuff like the penguin and the cape feather,
yeah.
sure.
I don't know. The
Why isn't
invincibility.
that?
Hmm?
Why isn't the Hammer Brothers suit in like S tier? Because it's like, I mean, sure, it's a rare power up, but it's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. My thing is they put the giant mushroom in S tier.
The giant mushroom.
You know, the Mega Mushroom, the
Oh yeah, and the mega mushroom. Yeah, that should be in D.
uh-huh.
Um, yeah, but with that, we're pretty much done with our tier list. I just want like, don't get me wrong, we'll go back to doing like Pokemon tier list pretty soon. It's just that I have some stuff that needs to get done.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wait for at least another month to get back into it.
Right.
But just wanted to do this one because it's pretty simple. It's Mario power ups. We're not
Mm-hmm.
ranking these based on design. We're just ranking them in terms of utility. Um, and it's cool to talk about the games a little bit, because each and every one of them is kind of handles differently.
Right. I get that. All right. So with that, we're gonna end our episode. I feel like this was a great episode for this week, especially with the recent release of Super Mario Galaxy
Yeah,
or the
I've
Super
not
Mario
seen.
Galaxy movie. Hmm?
Yeah, I've not seen that movie,
Uh,
and I don't know if I want to. I haven't even watched the original Super Mario Brothers movie.
so I've seen clips, and I'm gonna be honest, they're they're getting something big started there.
I don't know. I like it looks very good. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I think the title of Super Mario Galaxy is kind of misleading a little bit.
Nope, not with this one. They're
Hmm.
going all out. Like again, they are planning something big. The
I would hope so. But since this is Illumination that we're talking about, don't get me wrong, they're a good studio, I guess. They make high quality movies that look pretty good, but I don't know. Like again, I get it. It's a film for 3-year olds, and kids are gonna love it for sure. But it's also just like I don't know. Maybe turning 25 has made me more grumpier. I don't know.
you're a grumpy old man, Jake.
Well, the thing is, I know from what people have talked about the original Super Mario movie is that one of the reasons they liked it was because it actually had a story to
Hmm.
it. And when you're talking about Super Mario Galaxy, the game, that had like one of the greatest stories out there in terms of like Rosalina and the Lumas and some of the lore surrounding it. And I don't think Rosalina is in the Super Mario Galaxy movie that much.
No, like she's supposed to be a main character in it, I'm pretty sure. Give me a
Have
second.
you seen it yet?
I have not. I've like I said, I've seen clips
Mhm.
as I'm having
I,
Rose.
I, I've
Oh,
heard from, yeah, I also, I don't know if you've seen that one thing, but like they tease the fact that there's a certain Nintendo character franchise that appears in the movie.
all
Why
right.
did they do
This is gonna be
that?
something that you and I are gonna discuss after we finish recording, because I
Mhm.
know a lot more information about that than you do, and it's kind of funny.
Okay, okay, humor me.
After recording, because I don't want to be flagged for a
No,
spoiler alert for a movie that I have not seen yet.
okay,
But
all
again, I've
right.
seen the clips.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we're going to be signing off now, and we
Yep,
hope everyone enjoys their week. So,
yep.
I'm Jacob Green.
And I'm Xavier Dean. And tune in next week for another fun topic.